Oh boy, it's going to be a fun week. We're going to tackle that topic that makes me uncomfortable. And guess what? I'm the one who actually suggested it. So not only am I going to be uncomfortable, but I'm probably going to learn some things. We're going to talk about excuses. That's right. Now, we've got 5 excuses lined up for this week, starting today with the economy. I have this sneaky suspicion, call me crazy, we're going to run this for 2 weeks because I think I've already come up with 3 more excuses. So let's start off today. We're going to talk about the economy and the excuse that's the economy. So if you'd like to get started ahead of us, put your comment down in the comments about what your excuse around the economy is. Maybe it's, oh my God, the gas prices are so high. No one's going to buy anything. They have no money. Food costs. Have you seen the cost of broccoli? We'll keep going. You get the idea. So all that and more on episode 895 of today's Antidote.
Stay tuned for today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
Hey, Tom.
Good morning, Bob. How are you today?
I'm good. Can I tell you a secret that I've never told you in all 895 episodes?
If you'd like, sure.
Sometimes these openings are so easy because it's literally prying my head out. Sometimes I feel like the avatar for our show. Sometimes.
Interesting.
It startles me sometimes.
Well, you just now tipped everyone else off as well that when you do the intro and it goes smooth, you're feeling it yourself. Rather than them just thinking how brilliant you are.
It's not really today's antidote for anyone else. It's really Bob's antidote.
Fascinating.
I thought you'd like that.
I love the fact that you felt free to share that, thinking that maybe people thought otherwise.
Oh boy. And I run my fingers through my hair.
How was your weekend?
It was good. It was good. We'll get to that in the celebration part.
Oh, wonderful. All right. Well, let's get moving then. Good morning and welcome everyone to today's Antidote, our daily broadcast and podcast. Each week, Bob and I choose a topic. As Bob mentioned, this week's topic is excuses. I guess that was an excuse because we couldn't come up with anything else. So as we go through that conversation, and we're going to dive a little bit deeper into a piece of that topic, we're going to talk about the economy, as Bob said. If you have thoughts and ideas to share, please feel free to put them in the comments because we know that it'll add value to our show and to those who are watching and or listening. And at the conclusion of that conversation, Bob and I will each offer our one thing. That's right, our today's antidote. The reason it's named, not Bob's antidote, it's today's antidote, even though Bob will share an antidote. I got a little confusing. Anyhow, and of course, if you have an antidote that you would like to share as well, please feel free to do it. Because we know that there are a lot of people out there who might be stuck. And they're stuck because of excuses. They're stuck because of chaos, confusion, uncertainty. Maybe they're stuck because the summer is coming to an end and they're not sure how they are going to restart after Labor Day. All of those things can get you caught and frustrated and uncertain. And so our goal is to try to help you find some confidence and control so that you can sculpt your business, your work, your efforts, so that you have that confidence and control and you're able to achieve the goals and dreams that you have. So please feel free to share. Of course, if you have a one thing, your antidote, please share that as well. Many times we have been told things that probably could help us move forward, yet we haven't really heard them. And so maybe by you sharing your antidote, it's something that someone actually hears and allows them to move forward. So please feel free to share your thoughts and ideas. Before we get into that conversation, though, each morning, Bob and I do our celebrations. Bob, what are you celebrating today?
So I'm celebrating the fact I told you I was getting together with a high school friend that we kind of lost contact with, and I spent a couple hours with him, a fair amount of Saturday afternoon with him, and part of the time we were going down a river, well, more like a creek in kayaks, which was
Right.
really fun, and it was just interesting to hear an old friend describe me, and we had had some similar experiences over the last, 10 years, and it's just interesting. As you get older, you realize how similar you are to some people, and that some of the things that you didn't think about before like resonate. Like at one point he was describing something about me, and I had always thought it was something that really ticked him off about me, and he was like, I hope this person that you're with really can appreciate this quality about you, because I've always appreciated it. And I was like, whoa. I thought that was my fatal flaw. Who knew? And he's like, no. And I'm like, you're joking. It's like, no, I've always appreciated the fact that you did that. Yes, it's been uncomfortable at times, but it's also been eye-opening at times. I was like, wow, okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, thank you, Rick. It was a fun day. We kayaked about 1.5 miles down a creek. So I might have used the paddle 15 times. Just away we went.
Nice.
Yes, yes.
That's good.
And you had a big weekend. I saw some pictures from Michael in our group here, who's on the program a lot. He was capturing, I think he caught you at a yard sale.
Yes. Did you see the video?
I did not see the video. No.
Oh, he tagged you in it. You'll have to check out Facebook.
I had things
You were down
going
the river
for the weekend, and I did a technology-free weekend for the most part.
Oh, good for you.
I really tried to get away from it. Just
Nice.
I feel like sometimes all I ever do is play with technology. So, assuming the TV and the NASCAR race isn't technology, I didn't have a lot of technology going on.
Fair enough. It's interesting the way people say the word, because you shared it. CREEK.
Oh, there's crick and creek.
And I think when I was growing up, I used it both ways, because the road that I lived on was Knights, CREEK road.
Okay.
And oftentimes it was Knights Creek Road, not Knights Creek Road.
That's funny.
Yeah. Welcome to small town USA, where I was this weekend. It's part of my celebration.
Oh, wait, I'm getting some feedback. I hit.
What'd you do?
Stop. There you go. Sorry, I don't know what I hit.
And that was you. You weren't making it. Maybe you've been doing that all along, and you've been making the excuse that it's been Sam Hunt.
Sam Hunt he came and saw you and he left.
Maybe that's all we needed. Who is that crazy person? Okay, now I got to go. So yes, I got the opportunity to be back home, which provided a chance for a lot of celebrations. I saw some old friends. One who had his birthday yesterday. So part of my celebration is happy birthday to Irv with one. Got to see my parents. Had a good time with them. Had a little yard sale going on that, of course, caused some friction at the start and was fine at the end. Have you ever tried to put prices on things?
Yes.
To sell? There's a very fascinating. We got to the point. I'm share this little story. I had to do some coaching along the way because we were there. My dad was sharing thoughts. My mom was sharing thoughts. I was sharing thoughts. So I finally said, hold on a second. Let's go back to basics. What is the goal of this yard sale?
Get it the hell out of here.
Mom's goal was to get rid of stuff. Dad's first goal was the same, but he then had a second goal, which was not to sell it too cheap. I was like, oh boy. So I had to come up with this formula. So I said to him, okay, if because he kept saying, you know how much we paid for that or how much that costs? So I said, okay, well, here's the thing. Let's take what it costs. And then if you were going to sell it on like Facebook Marketplace or whatever, it's 1/4 of that. And I said, we're at a yard sale in a small town. So it's 10%. So if you tell me what it cost initially, we'll take 10% and that's what we're going to charge for it. And he was like, because he's a math guy, numbers guy, worked wonderful. So that was another part of my celebration. I got to make a trip to Highmark Stadium to watch the Bills play, which was awesome. And they won, and it was fun. I had good seats. Caught a T-shirt, and it was Kids' Day. So I
Like
sort
they
of
shot the T-shirts with the air guns.
They were just throwing them. So
I guess they haven't bought the air guns yet, or
not yet.
It's preseason, so
take care of the lower level people who
they could have had Josh Allen throwing. Well, that would have been a lot of work for him.
Yeah, and he was kind of on his day off. And so I sort of felt guilty that I did jump a little bit to catch it. And I immediately handed it to this little kid next to me. I felt, although I could tell the guy behind me wanted to catch it because he could give it to his kid. And I was like, yeah. Anyhow, so that was fun. And, the only downside of the whole weekend, I had to do it alone. My wife was back here, and so we weren't together. So that's not always as much fun as it could have been. So, and it was great to be home. They celebrated 200 years of our town, and it was a fun weekend.
I liked your yard sale story. I actually, at various points in my life, I've written short stories. And there's a short story I wrote about a guy who is no longer married, and he's getting rid of some of their stuff. And people are coming up and they want to buy it. And they're offering him whatever it is. And he's saying, no, I'm sorry, I can't sell that. No, I can't sell that, because he's still got an emotional attachment to it. And I think it's your father as well. And I've been through the yard sale process with various people, and it's not about the cost of the stuff. There's no amount of money for a lot of that stuff. You could have said, all right, you know what, Dad, I'll buy everything on here at the value you think it's worth. And he still would say, I don't have a box big enough for you, or it's just that there's so much more to a yard sale. Like if you go to I've been to a lot of yard sales. Go to a yard sale where the person has died and the kids are selling the stuff. You might as well just bring your truck.
Yeah.
Wait till
what else can you take?
And just say, hey, I really want that sofa. Beautiful. Can you carry it yourself? I can. Don't even give me money. Go. Godspeed to you. Thank you for bringing your U-Haul. We appreciate it.
Correct.
Versus the yard sale where it's the person who's like, this is my kitchen mixer that I make cakes every weekend for my kids, and Eunice's birthday, and Aunt Anna's birthday, and there's that emotional attachment. You almost feel guilty buying it for $3 because
right. The emotional attachment to it is
years.
Yes, no doubt. Yeah, and that's my dad. My mom is more like, so she took some of the stuff that didn't sell, put it out. She's like, God, nobody's going to take this. And I'm not that person who just puts things on the side of the road for free. And sure enough, like within an hour, all of it was gone. Which almost makes you want to think, for the time, effort, and energy that went in to do the yard sale, might have just been more effective. Just put it out there, and it probably would have been a wash. It was interesting. And a fun weekend. Kudos. My friend Irv was also a part of the planning committee. And I thought they did a wonderful job for a tiny little town to put together 3 days of celebrations. Had nice fireworks. I don't think our town has ever had fireworks. And I thought
a parade.
They've had parades before.
Was there a sock hop? And
there were DJs playing music. I don't know that anybody danced. Maybe they did. Maybe Friday or Saturday after the parade.
Did they have a potato sack race?
No, there was wiffle ball, home run hitting, free throw shooting. What's the game you play with?
The dunking booth?
No, there was a dunking booth. Oh, that's the video. You got to see the video.
Okay.
It's kind of like your video trying to dunk a basketball, sort of. The ending is a little different. And I felt that way because Michael Kittner, one of our listeners, we took a lot of photos, was recording it. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be.
Were you in the booth being dunked, or were you dunking someone?
I was throwing the ball.
Who were you throwing? Who was in there to be dunked?
My friend Irv. Irv is kind of like we could have done a whole show on my trip home. No one would have been that interested except for maybe Michael and my parents. Irv has been in the town forever.
Okay.
And he is a gregarious guy.
Okay.
Who is very active.
You seem to attract these gregarious guys. Have you noticed that? I can think of one of your officiating buddies who I would describe as gregarious.
Those two are they're similar in many ways.
It balances out the shyness that you have in me.
Yeah, something like that. And so he kind of was a little, I'm like, oh, he's going to be perfect to be in the booth. He'll draw a lot of attraction. People will be interested in doing that. And initially, I think he was worried about like, how far am I going to fall down? Is it going to hurt? Is it going to be cold? So it took him a little bit to get, and once he got in, forget about it.
Have you ever been in a dunking booth?
I have. A long time ago. Which
it's
brought back
very
that
unsettling.
memory. Yeah, because it's, unlike when you jump in, it's kind of like being pushed in sometimes. If you were pushed
No, I think it's worse than being pushed because you don't know when you're going to be pushed.
Well, that's right.
And Michael adds, and this is rather interesting, not to mention the color of the water. So in Scio, New York, what color is the water up there, Tom?
I didn't look at the water.
Well, apparently Michael did.
Well, I'm not sure if it
what
was.
What color was it, Michael, please? Creek water. Oh, look. Great line.
Can you spell it C-R-I-C-K?
Creek water or crick water. Very nice.
Well, I'm not sure it was the water. The dunk tank that they borrowed from the town over was a little, I'm not sure I would have been the one to want to be dunked.
Okay.
Yes, I have been dunked in a tank before. Long time.
Right. So we should get to our topic because I think this is a really good topic.
You think we've been just making excuses by talking about other things before we get to the topic because you didn't want to talk about it?
I didn't say I didn't want to talk about it.
Oh, okay. All right. Anyhow.
So
kick us off.
What's that?
Kick us off.
Okay. So we're talking about the excuses. And in the last week or two, I've heard a handful of people, maybe more, talk about the economy. Oh, interest rates are getting so high. It's so hard to borrow money. Have you seen gas prices, Tom? Oh my God. And you've traveled, so you know gas prices. They've crept up. Someone said to me, have you bought broccoli lately? And I said, I have. Why? And they're like, it's like double the price it used to be. And I was in a Walmart and I heard some people complaining about school supplies. These notebooks used to be this much and now they're this much. And I couldn't remember the cost of a notebook from year to year if you gave me $1 million. It's just a necessary evil. You buy the notebook.
Right.
And I think it's one of the things that we see all the time. And I find myself from time to time having excuses. And Michael's got a comment. Interesting topic of economy today. Is Facebook's restrictions on photo content a result of the economy or just an excuse to restrict photos and tagging, or is it just control? I don't know what he's talking about. And now I feel we're biting the hand that's feeding us.
Maybe. So keep going. We're doing well.
All right, we're going to keep going. Trudging onward. And the question becomes, okay, gas prices are up. And I was thinking about gas prices because I bought gas on Saturday. And I realized that I could think of it as an excuse. Oh, gas prices are higher. No one's going to have money for a coach. No one's going to be able to do this. No one's going to go to the bowling alley this fall. No one's going to go to the ocean for last weekend this summer. No one's going to do all these things. And then it hit me that there were other people buying gasoline. And they're all dealing with the same animal as me. It's not like you can, if you're going to move in your vehicle, sooner or later, you're going to purchase gas. Unless you're a race car driver. There, I got back to NASCAR. And apparently they don't, I've never seen them hand over a credit card when they put the tank in.
Well, I think they've already bought it.
Oh, have
And,
they? Okay.
and those people with electric cars,
Oh, those people. But you're paying for some sort of
the electricity.
right. And my understanding is electricity is not free.
Last I heard. Seems like it is.
That's right.
To
Seems
some
like it.
people, it seems like it's free.
Now solar is free, but I haven't.
Is it really free?
Well, once you pay the operational costs of getting all that solar into wherever you need it to be, so that you can use it. Yes, it.
Yeah, because those
No.
systems are simple to set up and just do.
Right. Well, and I'm building a windmill outside the penthouse because that's easy. You probably should.
And how do I get the electricity from that?
Right. Yeah.
You got to run some lines, I think. You know how to do
And then
that?
you were probably driving up through the stretch of the U.S. where they were doing fracking still, right? Were they still doing that as you went to New York through Pennsylvania? Because Pennsylvania used to be
I don't think there. I think it's
Okay.
more on the west.
the west side,
East side.
east side. Okay.
I was a little more in the central and west.
Okay, because that used to be you'd see the water trucks.
Yep.
But you're right. And with the economy, we're all dealing with the same animal, right? I'm
Yes.
paying the same interest rate as you are if I buy a new house. You're not going to buy a new house and get 2%. I'm not going to buy a new house and get 8%. And your credit card offer is going to be pretty much the same credit card offer that I'm going to have. And your interest on your bank account, while it might deviate slightly, is going to be about the same. And your merchant service charge for every time someone swipes a card and pays you is going to be about the same. So it occurred to me Saturday that we like to blame the economy, like the economy is making this really difficult for me. But it's all the same rules. Just like, I was watching a baseball game yesterday and the umpire was calling balls that were outside the strike zone. But he was consistent with both teams. If it was a high outside pitch, it was a strike. And they were saying it by the fourth inning, players have adjusted. You can see they're leaning further over and they're hitting more balls to right field, right-hand batters, because they've realized it's a strike. It may not be the definition of a strike, but that's how he's calling it. So they've adapted. And I was thinking about how we have to adapt. Just like if the bridge on your route to work is closed for whatever reason for a month for repairs, you have to adapt. You can't call your boss and be like, sorry, I can't come to work today because, well, the bridge is shut down and I can't find an alternate route. Your boss doesn't go, wow, it's been 3 weeks and you're still 15 minutes late. They would say to you, hey, you need to get up 15 minutes earlier and go the long way. I know it's inconvenient, but that's the way it is. And I think we often want to use the excuse of the economy when it is the excuse. And I know you have some thoughts on this because you were sharing it before the program. What are your thoughts on this whole excuse, whether it's the economy or something else?
Well, I think it can be an excuse.
Okay.
And actually be an excuse temporarily. If you don't know that the bridge is out and you're planning to be, the normal trip to work takes 20 minutes. With the bridge out and not being able to go across it, you have to find a new route. And if you didn't know that and you just came upon it, you have a legitimate excuse.
The first day.
The first day. And I think the same thing. When gas prices first go up, anyone who is impacted, and people are impacted based on, if you have to drive to all of your different locations, if you're a service person, you have to drive to all of them. That's a legitimate excuse of why things are changing, is because I've got to buy the gas to get to where I need to go. If you're a trucking company, you're sending trucks, they have to buy gas. And if it's more expensive, that can be an initial excuse why things have changed. I think the challenge is how do we not get stuck in that excuse and just use it as the crutch to lean on because it seems convenient. And while, yes, it did impact us at one point, at some point you have to choose to move on or not. And I think those people who get stuck in the excuse are the ones who are likely looking for any excuse to say they're stuck. And while they might share with you today it's the economy, they might share with someone else tomorrow that it's something else,
Right.
because they are not willing to take the responsibility of, okay, these are all the external factors that are impacting me, as we talk about all the time, and that we can't control. You and I don't control the economy, I don't think.
No,
You and I don't control the decisions to shut down a road or a bridge or create a detour.
not yet, but I'm working on getting
You're
that
working on
power.
that. Your Department of Transportation you've given up on being Al Roker, and now you want to be the head of the Department of Transportation.
No, I think I can do both.
Awesome.
Well, then I can do the traffic report because I'm causing the traffic. Right?
Right. Makes it easier, right?
It's just efficient.
Fair. That's interesting. I wonder if there's a connection between those now that you say that. Or if the news people hadn't thought about that, they just whatever. So I think that that's part of it, is that and I think maybe this is my one thing,
Cool.
is
That came
that
out of nowhere.
I know, because I was thinking about it and I was like, I'm going to share it, so why not share? Is that the economy can be an excuse temporarily. At some point, we have to figure out how to adjust to it and not get stuck in that excuse. Because, like you said, we're not the only ones dealing with it. Everyone is dealing with the higher prices of food, the higher prices of gas, the change in interest rates. It's not a unique impact on one person. It's on all of us. And so it's almost like, okay, if it's on all of us, then that excuse is no longer a valid excuse, because we all now know about it, and we all have to then determine, are we going to let it impact us or not, or help us determine what the choices are that we make based on that information.
And think of the successful businesses that have figured it out. You know, like the Ford Motor Company, for example, has been around for over 100 years. A lot has changed in transportation over those 100 years. When you see a Model T now, you're like, wow, I don't know how anyone could have gotten into that thing. I mean, there's no seatbelts, there's barely a roof, not really getting great mileage. The Model T didn't have airbags, if I understand correctly, nor a radio. And the roll down windows didn't exist. You know, I was in a U-Haul truck the other day and I had to roll down the windows by hand. That was a really exhausting effort. I kept going for the button to roll it up. So think of those changes. Plus, roads have changed dramatically. Speed limits have changed. And that company has adapted to that. And look at, you know, a more recent company like Chick-fil-A that dealt with COVID, and all the businesses that have dealt with COVID. Success in any endeavor really requires adapting to whatever the variables are that come at us. You and I have had to adapt this program over the last 3 years. You know, when it first started, people were home. They were flocking to this program because, like, oh, these guys, these doofuses are at least giving me some sort of connection to a community. And now I think some people probably are busier with their lives and they're watching this on replay, or they catch it once a week because they have more things that they can spend their time with. And they're going to an office, they're meeting with other people, they're engaged in ways that they weren't when we started this program. And so we've had to adapt. What's that?
Maybe it's just an excuse why they may not be listening at this point. Maybe they're not listening in the moment. They're listening later because of valid excuses. I had to drive to work. We were late. We didn't start at 7-ish. We started at 7:30-ish. Things like that.
Is there such a thing as a valid excuse?
I think there is. Yeah.
Or is there just, this is what's real? Because to me, the word excuse means you're substituting something false for something real.
I think we should hold off on that conversation. I think it's a great conversation for tomorrow. I think that's an interesting conversation for a full show that might be more interesting than, because I think we've been a little bit all over the idea of it.
We're always all over on Mondays. That's a given.
Well,
so my one thing today regarding excuses in the economy is, we think of that we're the only person affected by it, but everyone's playing in the same economy. That you can't yes, maybe you have a better interest rate than me because you have better credit score than me, but it's not, you're not getting 1%, I'm not paying 26%. There's more, and it balances itself out. Because if you've got a lower rate on your interest, you've probably paid down debt, so you have less money in your hands, so it all balances out in the end. And I think for a long time, I would be like, well, the economy is different for me than everyone else. But it really is, we're all in the same boat.
Yes.
What?
I've been trying to read through Michael's.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, I think, organizations like Facebook can choose to do whatever it is they do with and make an excuse for why they did it. It may or may not be valid. It may or may not be the true reason that they're doing it. And that they all have the opportunity to choose to do that. We have the opportunity.
It's also a private company, right? So we tend to think of things like Facebook and Twitter and TikTok and all the social media platforms as more of a utility. That everyone, that we should all have equal and open access to them at all times. But the reality is it's private enterprise. Facebook could shut us down today and say, you posted a comment about us that we don't like, you're done. And we run that risk every day.
Sure. Well, we also have the control to choose which comments we share and which ones we don't. And we could say that
which platform we're on.
Correct.
We could create our own platform, right?
That probably go about the same way as allowing people to comment on podcasts.
I'm working on it. I got such a long list.
Is that an excuse or a lie?
No comment.
All right, fair enough. All right, everyone. If you have thoughts and ideas around this that you'd like to share, or you want to make sure you get in on our conversation tomorrow, is there such thing as a valid excuse? I love that topic. I think that'll be fun. Please feel free to join us tomorrow morning. If you have thoughts or ideas, please share them here. If you're listening to the podcast, as you heard, you can't comment in the middle of a podcast. So join us in our Sculpt Your Business Facebook group, where you can share your thoughts and ideas there and gain from the thoughts and ideas of others. And while you're there, please feel free to share whatever other value you have, because it might be what someone is exactly looking for. And if you're someone who's struggling and feel like you're making a lot of excuses over why things aren't maybe getting done, or you aren't moving your organization or business as fast as you'd like, and you just seem stuck in the excuse, reach out to Bob or I. We'd love to have a conversation with you around our Sculpt Your Business program. It can help you go from stuck with chaos and confusion to find more confidence and control. And this might be just the time as you're getting out of the summer and starting to get back to what people kind of call back to work. It might be the time to make sure you are able to not start that off being stuck. Rather, you're focused, you have some confidence and control so that you can achieve the goals you want to achieve by the end of the calendar year. If that's of interest to you, reach out to Bob or me, and we can fill you in with more details. If not, thanks so much for being a part of our show today. We look forward to seeing you either in that Facebook group or tomorrow, 7 a.m.-ish Eastern time for our next episode of Today's Antidote.
Hey, in the meantime, whatever you do, folks, it's time to embrace the renegading you. It's so worth it. It'll get you past all those excuses. And my cat Tom has heard your dog barking and has come back.
Your cat Tom or your
cat, Tom. Yes.
I just wanted, make sure everyone knows the cat's name is Sam Hunt, in case they didn't already know.
Right. And he hears your dog barking in the background and came back to investigate.
Fair enough. All right, everyone, go out and enjoy your day. We will see you soon.
You're probably thinking, I tell myself excuses, or someone keeps telling me I'm telling myself excuses. I don't know what to do about that. I don't know how to fix that situation. Well, that's where our Sculpt Your Business from chaos and confusion to confidence and control can help you. It's as easy as contacting Tom or Bob or going to renegadesuccessnetwork.com. having a discussion, and seeing what's possible when you move beyond excuses into what's real and how to move forward. It's available to you. Do it today. You'll thank yourself tomorrow and every day afterward.